And then, of course, we've been talking all morning about Mary Landrieu and her residency issues, which now is subject of a lawsuit by Paul Hollis. Also complaints by the challenger, Rob Maness. And my column at Bayoubuzz.com about her house of cards. Washington Post has written about it. Other people around the country have written about it. So what do you make of this whole thing?
Well, to me, I think that at this point in time, there's not much to it. I think that Paul Hollis is going to get his publicity. I think that this is an issue that Rob Maness is going to get some exposure. Cassidy got some. The question is whether or not she satisfies the legal requirements. And I think according to the Secretary of State at this point in time, she does. So from a legal standpoint, I just don't see it. From a PR standpoint, well, I think that's a different issue. And I think that, you can, I don't understand Cassie's comment about, well, if this person lives in a parent's house, doesn't deserve to be U.S. Senate. I don't get that. I really don't. I don't know what he's talking about there. So, I do think, again, I think it's a PR issue, and I don't see it as a legal issue.
Well, I'm not a lawyer. You're the lawyer, so you're better equipped to talk about the legal aspect of it. As far as the political aspect, I do know that Pat Roberts in Kansas had a difficulty in his own primary because of the residency issue. I know Dick Lugar, I think, had a problem with residency, contributing to his loss.
Sure.
And I do think in a close election, any votes taken away from Mary Landrieu on any issue are a bad thing. Also, you had a complaint filed by the Louisiana Republican Party with, I think, the Senate Ethics Committee concerning her campaign flights and the fact that they were not paid for by her political operation, but paid for by the taxpayers. So she's got that issue still that hasn't gone away. Mm-hmm. So I think, and in fact, one of the commentators said that she had the worst week in Washington last week of any politician. They said Mary Landrieu was the one with the worst week. And a woman already in a tough battle, that's certainly not good to hear.
Sure. Well, yeah, there's no question. Like I said, I think it's a PR issue. I do believe that, the people are entitled to know more about, Chartergate to get a better idea as to whether or not, she had any active knowledge. And I think that we have a right to know that. As far as this issue, I think that those people who are really offended by it are going to, those people against her anyway are going to be offended by it. And those people who, maybe see her often on the ground here in Louisiana, doing her job, are not going to be bothered by it. And it's not like she is, is doing work for another state.
Well, here's what I found interesting. I want to get your thoughts on this. One of the neighbors interviewed said he never sees her around. And another neighbor said the same thing, and these are two friends of the Landrieu family, certainly not hacks or Republicans out to get her. They're just saying, hey, she's not around here. She doesn't live here. One of them said, come on, she lives in Washington, D.C.
Well, she does live in Washington. She has a $2.2 million house in Washington.
Right. So the fact that she, quote, lives at her parents', I think is a joke. When she comes here, do you think she stays at hotels in the CBD, or do you think she stays in her parents' basement?
I don't know. I think that is, sort of a secondary issue. I'd like to know. I think that we have a right to know. But I don't see this as really being an issue. Is she, question is, even if you politically disagree with her, okay, is she doing her job? I think that a lot of people who are in the Senate and in Congress happen to, they live up there, they live down here. And it's just the nature of the game.
Well, look at her colleague, David Vitter. There's no question where he lives. He lives in Metairie. People see him every weekend. There's no question where Steve Scalise lives. He's here every weekend.
That may change in terms of Steve Scalise.
I'm saying right now.
I understand that, and that may change. David Vitter may start living here more if when he decides to run for governor. What bothers me about David Vitter?
But he's here all the time. People see him all the time. Hold on. He lives in Metairie.
I understand that, but I think that if you're going to be offended by Washington invading Louisiana, in terms of her not living here and being more Washingtonian and not doing for Louisiana or what we want Louisiana to do, I think that we want her to do for Louisiana. To me, what I find more offensive is the amount of money that is going from David Vitter's senatorial campaign through a super PAC into his state fund. I mean, that's, to me, that is a whole lot more injurious to the people of Louisiana. And likewise, I think the money coming from the super PACs, whether they're in support of Mary Landrieu or their support of, in this case, any of her the candidates or whatever, I think that is a whole lot more frightening than this particular situation. And I would expect us to have being more outrage about those things, because that's buying of Louisiana. Okay, I mean,
as you say, it goes on both sides, and it
goes on both sides, and I think we should be offended by
both sides. Now,
sure.
Also, the thing that I'm really offended at by her is the fact she doesn't vote in congruence with the people of Louisiana. I mean, she does not vote in line with the values of Louisiana voters. I mean, she's out of step.
That's the issue, and that's the issue. Okay, I mean, this other stuff I think in my mind is secondary, and I think that there's a chance of a backlash.
I mean, it could be, but it also has been very powerful in other states. So I think she's got something to worry about here. I wouldn't just blow it off.
I'm not blowing it off. What I'm saying is, in terms of my, again, I said it was a PR issue. Yeah. And I think there may be a backlash against those people who are, trying to push, an issue like this. I think that, that Landrieu, there's no question that those people who are following the candidates, who are following the people, our elected officials, know when these people do come into the state, right. And know, their schedules, and I think that is, I mean, so I don't see that from my perspective, I don't see that being really an issue from my perspective. I think the greater issue is she doing the job that the people of Louisiana want her to do?